All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. And we're going to start with the Husky student athletes today, starting with Shelbie Coker. So I'll let each of you go ahead and have a chance to ask questions. Justin, I'm going to start with you from the Northern Star. Go ahead, Justin. You got to unmute yourself.
Shelbie, tonight you guys really, I mean, this is, coaches even talked about this, and you talked about this. This was the most probably all-round, most consistent you guys been throughout the entire game. I know you guys have had your struggles in the first quarter, but you guys really didn't have any struggles first quarter. What was some of the things that first quarter was a real big-time starter for you? What were some things that you saw you guys were able to do? Because you are one of the leaders of this team.
Yeah, I think we were all just ready to start the game with a lot of energy. And starting the game, you know, we shared the ball really well, and we were able to knock down shots as well. So as we were doing that, we were just feeling a lot more energy, and I think that really got us rolling in the first quarter.
Shelbie, this is second big win in a row. You beat a really good Bowling Green team. Central Michigan was sitting at the top of the conference, and you guys, I mean, I'm not saying you guys made it look easy, but it looked easy tonight. What are some of the things, I mean, that you guys have really worked over the break to kind of get yourself ready for these two games? Because these are two big games.
Yeah, you know, I think just over the break, we really regrouped, and we were looking to start the new year off strong, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of that.
One more question. What you guys have really done a really, not even at the guard position and at the big forward position, you guys have really done a great job of rebounding in these last several games. Tonight, I believe you had another double digit in that category. What are some things you guys been really working on in practice to really practice rebounding? I know as a guard, it's kind of a little bit hard to get in there and get in the middle with the bigger girls, but what are some of the things you guys been working on for rebounding wise? Because that's one of those things that you guys have made a wide margin in.
We just always focus on tagging and boxing out and getting the boards. We don't necessarily run any specific drills, but the coaches, especially Jan and Lex, are always on us for giving up old boards. So I think they really make us try to focus on that in practice, even if it's not the main focus of the drill.
Thank you, Shelbie. That's all I had.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Shelbie.
Yep, you're not done.
Sorry, I got on here late.
Sorry.
Sorry, it's okay. Can you just talk about the quick start and how you guys were able to sustain that? I know it's always great to get off to a start like that, but usually it's tough to maintain that, and you guys were able to really keep the pedal to the metal, so to speak.
Yeah, we definitely did not want to let this get away from us. So I think all of us on the bench and the people who were on the floor, we really wanted to stay locked in and to make sure our energy didn't dip any from what it was at the beginning of the game. So I think that was key.
Was there anything you guys did differently at the start of the game that just, I mean, obviously the result was there, that felt you did differently, or was it just everything, kicking on all cylinders at the start?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we did anything differently, but it definitely felt like a lot more energy, especially coming off of the last Bowling Green game. I think that gave us a lot of confidence and energy to start this game too.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yep.
Okay, I think now you're good, Shelbie.
Okay.
Thank you.
Don't be nervous.
All right, we're joined now by Michaela Brandon and Chris from the Daily Chronicle. We'll go ahead and start with you for questions on this.
Yeah, you could just elaborate a little bit more on what I was just asking Shelbie about, Michaela, just the start you guys were able to get off to and able to just sustain that to the point where you just buried them early and never really gave them any chance to come up for air.
Yeah, I think like what Shelbie said, coming off the Bowling Green game, we had a lot of energy and confidence coming into this game. And as soon as we took the lead early, we knew we couldn't lose that energy. And we stayed as a team and we kept that energy on the floor, on the bench, within our coaching staff. And it was just great team energy all around.
What is it like in a game like this where everyone seems to be contributing up and down? It gets to the point where I've got to look down on my stat sheet and go, who scored that time? Because it's a different number seemingly every time. It's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun when you have 5 people on the floor who can score the ball. And I think it gives the defense obviously a big trouble if all 5 of us can score the ball at any level.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll go to Justin from the Northern Star.
Michaela, you had a career high 18 points. What are some of the things that really, I know you guys, Shelbie contributed that first quarter. Everyone really had high energy. What are some of the things that had you going in that first quarter? Because you went 4. You've had a really good first quarter as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just kept shooting. I haven't been shooting really well lately, and I don't think coach will continue to put me on the floor if I don't continue to take open shots, and that's what I did. And today they just happened to go in.
Today you shot, I believe you only missed 1 3-pointer. You guys, this is kind of plays off for first question, but you really were in rhythm the whole game for behind the arc. Is that something you've been really working on even before the season started? Because I know this is a little bit bigger role for you this season. I know you need to score and stuff like that, but is there something you've been is there a contributing factor to your success behind the arc during this game, really?
Yeah, definitely. In the off season, working on threes is definitely something that I've put an emphasis on. My first 2 years, I didn't shoot the ball like I wanted to, and I knew with the people that we had leaving last year that I would have to step up and have a little bigger role this year. So I just did what I could and got the shots up that I needed to.
I have one more question. Rebounding. You had 5, but as a team, you guys have done extraordinary, especially on the offensive side. Shelbie had kind of really contributed some of the stuff in practice, but what are some things that you've really, that's another question, really, as something you guys have really worked on in the offseason? Because I know years past, you guys kind of struggled, especially on the offensive rebounds, but is something really starting to click?
Yeah, in the off season, we do a lot of rebounding drills, and we get a little feisty, so we kind of focus more on that in the off season. But yeah, they're definitely really competitive, and all we care about is getting the rebound, like in those drills. So those really help us a lot. And then, like Shelbie said, now in season, we don't necessarily do rebounding drills, but rebounding is an emphasis in any drill we do now.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Michaela.
Thank you.
All right, we've been joined by head coach Lisa Carlsen. Lisa, congratulations on the win. And if you'd like to start us off with a statement about today's game.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a team win. You know, we had a ton of people step up and really play well. And I think you heard Michaela and Shelbie both talk about it. I thought our energy was consistent throughout the entire 40 minutes, regardless of what the score was. And we just beat a really good Central Michigan team.
All right, for questions, we'll start with Justin from the Northern Star.
Coach, we have talked about it in the past about how your teams really, you guys have recently struggled and beforehand struggled in the first quarter. How big was that first quarter for you guys?
Well, I think any timeout, how you start it is critical, but I think especially against a team the caliber of Central, you have to get off to a good start because that's not a team that you want to play from behind against, especially with their offensive firepower. You know, offense is contagious, and we got a couple of good looks early, knocked down a couple of shots early, and from there it really snowballed and stayed fairly consistent throughout the entire 40. So, you know, basketball is a funny game. It's a game of runs, and it just seemed like when we got the open look, you could almost count that it was going to go in.
Coach, this was another game like last. It was a physical game, and Central Michigan got really – they had to use a lot of reserves early in the game because they got into early foul trouble. Was that really kind of the game plan going in? Because there was a lot of stuff for you guys going inside early.
Yeah, I don't know if it was, you know, necessarily the focal point, but anytime their key people, especially get in foul trouble, that's going to be an advantage for us. I think our aggressiveness overall put us in a good situation to draw fouls, which was critical. You know, and I've talked from the very beginning that our depth is really, really important. And so when that happens in foul trouble, either the other team or even if that happens to us, I feel like we're able to sustain the level that we need to, regardless of who we have on the floor. And that's offensively and defensively. I think I was really proud of the way we played defense tonight for the most part because, Central is obviously a really, really good offensive team. And we were able to especially kind of keep Molly in check a little bit. Obviously, Michaela really tried to take over the game, and she's so talented. She's able to do that. But I thought all 5 people on the floor really played well defensively together. And that gave us opportunities to get stops, rebound, and then play in the open court a little bit.
Coach, you kind of alluded to my next question. This is the first really, I mean, you guys have played previously good defense, but this is something you guys really had success controlling the ball. You guys really didn't, you have struggled with in pass or turnovers, but you only had 12 tonight. But on the flip side, you forced Central Michigan into 12. And then when you get to that point, you kind of even it out. You have a game like this potentially. I mean, if you want to comment about the turnover battle a little bit.
For sure. And, anytime that we do take care of the basketball and more opportunities to shoot the basketball, and when we're shooting it well, obviously that's a formula for success. And we have felt like consistently throughout the year, we have done some good things on the offensive end, but we've given the ball away too many times. We were able to kind of keep that at bay and not turn it over as much tonight. And then again, sharing the basketball and shooting the basketball well, you're going to have positive results.
Coach, you had, I believe it was 6 players in double digits tonight. How important is it for not only your starters to really get the scoring going during the stretch MAC play, especially right now after winning 2 games, not only your starters, but the bench as well, because as you've seen, you're going to run into more deeper teams. You're going to expect your bench to really contribute.
Well, and I think that's been fairly consistent for us. We've had different people in different nights really step up and have great scoring nights, whether it's Jaden or Emily or, obviously John A. coming off the bench has been a huge spark for us. And I think our depth is really critical. And I feel like this team has a lot of confidence in each other, which leads to being able to share the basketball and give it to people in areas where they can have success. And you're talking, 1 through 10, probably. I've been fairly consistent in that kind of rotation. And that's obviously a good formula for us.
Thank you, Coach. That's all I had.
All right, we'll go to Chris Walker from the Daily Chronicle. Go ahead, Chris. Oh, unmute yourself.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry, Coach. He covered most of the stuff, but the one question I had going into the second half, another start like that where you guys it was almost like deja vu except I think it was 3 quick threes off the right off the get-go there in the second half. It was almost like even though the score was so big at that point, it's almost like you still needed that against a team that hadn't lost in conference, and you knew they were going to come back and have fight in them.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that at halftime, understanding that the score needed to be 0-0, and we needed to have the same mentality to start the third quarter that we did when we started the game. And I thought we did a nice job of that. And, for a team that's playing from behind, that's a little bit demoralizing when you come out and feel like you haven't been able to cut into the lead in the first, 5 minutes of the third quarter. I think that was as critical as the start to the game.
And then I just had one other question, Coach, you talked a little bit about some of the passing early on, especially, creating opportunities inside, and that seemed to open stuff up with the 3-point game. Can you just talk a little bit about that? Because it just seemed like the unselfish play there opened some things up.
Yeah, we see that daily in practice. I really feel like this is an unselfish basketball team, and we have gotten so much better at our ability to pass and passes on the money where people can catch and shoot. And I think that was on display tonight, and it's not just from Shelbie or not just from our guards. I think when you look at, the 4 assists, I think that Asia had, or the 3 assists that Michaela Brandon had, those are our post players being able to share the basketball as well. And I think when you have 5 players on the floor that understand where everybody's going to be and giving them the ball where they can be successful, it makes us really hard to guard.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, that should do it. Thanks very much, Lisa.
All right. Thanks, guys.